Right here we're going to stand?
Yes, sir. It's kind of funny, but funny old world.
Children around us.
Is it Philly?
Yeah. Alright.
And just cut, and now let's surround ourselves with children.
Alright, excellent. And this will be one of the outcomes that could occur.
This is one of the outcomes that will happen if you're not careful.
Yes. Or if that's what you desire, here it is.
If that's what you desire, then best of luck to you. I feel weird standing around talking about pickups.
Yeah, let's go somewhere else.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is James Marshall reporting live for the Natural Lifestyles on the island of
Special, which is just off of the island of
special
place Dubrovnik.
But in the Latin it was Specialiamos Lacruminus Sensitavos.
Well, it's interesting. It doesn't have a name that we know, but it was one of the most spectacular places I've ever seen.
It was a lovely day. We had a
really
nice
amazing.
day.
Yeah.
So yeah, John and I have just finished doing some coaching together in the Southern Balkans, and we've had a few days off just to chill out, which was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been like a day or two to unwind, and then back to life. Right? Yeah.
Back to the grind.
Yeah.
Which is also pretty good. So we're going to get on this boat, and I guess we'll just keep chatting while we're doing that. So it's been really interesting working with you, John. I've really enjoyed seeing the crossroads where like our philosophies have met.
Yes.
And seeing the way you express them has been really, really interesting because it's different than what I do.
Yes.
So for my audience who doesn't know you that well, I just wanted to ask and get them to become acquainted with you. If you were to describe what it is that you did, because obviously you're New York's finest dating coach.
Yes, thank you.
Obviously. Although I'm coming there soon, so that kind of
cranking my style.
Can be
well, luckily I'll be hanging with you. I'll be watching you.
That's right. Yeah. So, how would you describe your style? Like, are you a indirect, natural, routine-based something? What are you?
Yeah, I would put it more, and if you're going to put it in those kind of categories, I would just say natural. I would even take it out of the regular PUA semantics altogether, and just put it back into being human.
Oh.
So yeah, being absolutely as human as I can. And for me, it's always been about from the inside out. So my style is just still your mind, get in tune and aligned with yourself, and then just and that's really 90% of it. And then the other 10% is just learning how to break the ice in every kind of situation that presents itself. Learning how to do it and finding it to be exciting. I do like it'd be fun to be able to break the ice here on a boat, or fun to break the ice while we're swimming out in the Adriatic, and fun to break the ice on a street corner in New York, or in the subway, or on a plane, or in the supermarket or the bookstore, and all the everyday places. So that's been so really it's just like getting aligned with your instinct, getting aligned, getting your head straight, meaning really coming to
not too straight,
not straight in a sort of fascist way, but straight in the sense that ownership of your job, ownership of yourself and your intentions and your desires, and becoming one with them. So that's really that's the way that I personally operate, and that's how I've always been teaching, is getting in tune with who you are, your instincts beyond your thoughts, your instincts beyond your culture, your instincts, your human instincts. And then what I mean by getting your head straight is coming to understand your intentions as good, as clear, as not a bad thing, which as we know, so many men are often at odds with themselves.
Right.
They have this instinct and they've been taught not to listen to it, and then they're feeling like their intentions are bad. So instead it's saying, hey, my instincts are happy and they're good, and my intentions are good. They're all wired to connect with women in all sorts of ways, from sex to love to adventure to little spontaneous moments that you just carry on after you're gone. So
I often talk about, in terms of what my job is, stripping away all that's unnecessary, all that has been grafted on top of you to get back to essentially what you always were.
Yes.
And I think it's a very Zen thing, isn't it? Like looking at seduction in these terms, in terms of, as opposed to putting extra things on top of you like an armor,
right,
or a shield or a mask. We're actually attempting to pull all that stuff off to get back to what is easy and simple and natural.
Yeah,
which is not always easy to do.
No, and that's the actual work. And it's interesting that we both came to this sort of Zen-like, I like to call it Zen or something like it, right? I don't want to claim Zen.
Zen or something like it, yeah.
But,
which is quite a Zen thing to say.
Yeah, okay, excellent. So, but we come to it in our own ways, you know, and one of the ways that I was coming to it was as a professional actor for many years and looking at the process of acting as a Zen-like process, as a holy process even, as a spiritual endeavor, because the actual outcome that one might get from as an actor, if you're on a stage, might be some clapping or this or that, and if you're looking for that, you'll feel pretty empty, or one day it's that, and the next day then you feel bad. So you learn, in order to feel good about yourself, that external outcomes or external responses won't lead to fulfillment, won't lead to you feeling like an amazing human being all day, every day. And then even further, the idea of having a career in that, if your whole thing was, oh, this guy said I'm great, he gave me a job, but no one else did, and then your whole thing is always dependent on something outside of you. So for me, it always became the process of acting that was the whole thing, the journey of it. So then from taking it to meeting and connecting with women, became the process of it became more important than any outcome, more important than her smiling, more important than sex, more important than a date, more important than any of that. Although all of those things do happen and all those things are nice and feel good, the process of moving beyond any fear became more important on my personal journey. Right here we're going to stand?
Yes, sir. It's kind of funny, but funny old world.
Children around us.
Is it Philly?
Yeah. All right.
And just cut, and now let's surround ourselves with children.
All right, excellent. And this will be one of the outcomes that could occur.
This is one of the outcomes that will happen if you're not careful.
Yes. Or if that's what you desire, here it is.
If that's what you desire, then best of luck to you. I feel weird standing around talking about pickups around
let's
children.
go somewhere else.
Let's cut, and we'll go to mountain, and then it's fine. It's interesting because most men, when they look at this field, they're always looking for outcomes. Initially, they're very much. I had a student the other day say, the reason I came to this course is because I want higher ROI, return on investment. He actually said that. I want higher ROI.
Okay.
Right. Well, you're going to get lower ROI or whatever, RSI or whatever you're going to get with that attitude.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he was really frustrated because he'd done a lot of hours. He put in a lot of time, a lot of work, and when he looked at it, he's like, well, out of that, I've gotten 2 dates, a kiss, and for 20 hours. That's not a good return on investment.
No. And I've met many guys like this. They look at it as a numbers game, and as you and I know, it's actually not. It's once you become skillful and good and connected to yourself, it's infinite. There's actually infinite connections to be made. Infinite. Only then your problem will be. It is a big number. Then you only have so much time, so then you choose better. But I know I've met many guys like this, and it's like, okay, I've done 100 approaches, or I've done 400 approaches, like it said to do in that book, and I've gotten only two phone numbers and 2 this and 1 sex and that. So that's.
Therefore, I need to get a new technique that will increase my percentages.
Right. And it goes back to what you just said earlier about stillness.
I always say to guys that it's good to approach a lot of girls, but you need to have the mentality that every single approach is the only approach. That each girl that you meet is the only girl.
Yes.
Because if you're thinking, all right, well, I've got to do 10 today, so I'm getting through my approaches. Then you're going to get through them. Sure.
Yes.
You're not actually going to get into them.
Right.
So I say, okay, well, isn't that lovely?
Yes, it is.
Isn't that lovely? Nice. Good to appreciate a nice sunset. It is that a good return on investment? How much money do we spend on the airline ticket here? And we took took quite a lot of hours out of our day to come here, and we get the sunset, which is we got one sunset.
Yeah.
But is that a good return on investment? I don't know. Could have been reading an ebook.
That's true. Could be staring at a computer screen, watching the 10,000 video.
Could be doing that.
That's right.
And there's not that many girls to approach here, so we're wasting our time because we could be returning our investments elsewhere.
That's true.
You mentioned earlier talking about, I think it was essentially about having curiosity about women or something along those lines. I think a lot of guys don't actually have any curiosity about women. Like, I don't think they're actually interested in them.
Yeah.
I don't think they like them that much. They obviously want to have sex with them, but I think a fundamental error is that many men are actually not that interested in finding out what is going on inside a woman.
That's really.
What do you think about that?
That really speaks to me, the way you said that. I think a lot of people, men especially these days, become lacking in empathy. The actual being able to feel what other people feel, or being even interested in that at all. And there's various reasons for that. Some might be too much staring at computer screens actually stops that part of your brain from working. You know, to empathize, to feel what someone else feels, and also because of spending too much time analyzing all day long, they're not really connecting to life. Literally, I would just call it connecting to life and the people in it, the world. They're not doing that, and they've never done it. And further, because of the fears they have, or the bad experiences they feel they had with women in the past, they develop limiting beliefs about women, and actually start to see women over and over again. I've seen this. They don't see women as almost human in a way. They're a different species. They're a different whole nother thing, when really they don't even understand oftentimes that they're just like us, but they don't have a penis. They're a little bit different. There's maybe some emotional processes that are different, but in general they have
hopes, dreams, fears, insecurities, egos, all of that sort of stuff.
Everything we have. Lots of apprehension to maybe talk to an attractive guy, fear to be in an amazing relationship with the guys he's standing before him. So a lot of guys don't understand that kind of thing, and I've seen guys literally, it's just like, okay, I want to have sex, I just want to have sex, I just want to have sex, and they're never seeing the woman. She's always just a means to an end, and therefore their whole life's just a means to an end. Their job is a means to an end. How much more money can I make? This girl before him is just, how can I have sex with her? So they then will study processes like that are manipulative process to get what they want, instead of this journey thing that we're talking about, instead of enjoying the fact that giving this person a compliment, enjoying learning about who she is and what makes her tick, and just that what is her essence. And when you see what's beautiful about her essence, whether you just try to say it in words and let her know that you see that another human being hears her, that's like the good stuff. And that's why guys like you and I can talk to infinite numbers of people, infinite numbers of women, and every time it is brand new. It's not a routine. We might say something the same as we said before, but it's always this human being before us, and we're always a little bit vulnerable in front of them. So we go forth and want to know about them, want to connect with them, want to flirt with them, and it feels good.
And of course, when you empathize with somebody, you draw emotions out of them. You make them feel listened to, wanted, needed, understood, etc., etc. Of course, they then want to make you feel good. And what's the easiest way for a woman to do that, or the best way? Well, take you to bed. Having like this divisive, adversarial attitude about women, that essentially we're trying to conquer them, we're trying to beat them, we're trying to trick them.
It's a war. I've heard an actual famous dating coach send an email out say, "Gentlemen, this is war." Yeah, let's go. It's us against them. Yes, let's get. That was perfect timing.
Revenge.
Yes.
Revenge on all those cool chicks in high school that made me feel bad.
Let's get them.
The thing is that the good thing is that doesn't even work very well.
No.
So it's like even if it was like a choice, imagine if it was a choice, it was like, well, you can take the dark side, that works. So you can take the light side, that works. Lots of guys that take the dark side. That shit doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and I know many guys who have taken the dark side, invested lots of time and energy and money into that, and they come out on the other side, and what they've done is the very first thing we're talking about here is they've gotten away from who they are, away from their instincts, away from their own nature, away from being natural, and they become lost. The lost boys. But there is always a way back, but it's more work than a lot of people would like it to be. But on the other hand, it's quite simple.
And it's fun though. It's fun work in the end. So when we're looking at something like presence and awareness and coming back to feeling your instinct, I teach a lot of this, and I guess my background's in martial arts, meditation, Tai Chi, these kinds of things. And so that's how I help students to become more embodied. Present is breathing exercises, body awareness exercises, things like this. So your background is different, obviously, in terms of acting, and you're a person who's always dynamically interacting with other people. So how is it that you go about helping students to come back more to their present moment or to who they really are, their instinct?
That's a great question. Number one is, I'll get, similar to the way that you do it, I get people into their bodies and out of their head, right? So, because in here is where all this trouble's happening. And even before acting, I got a degree in psychology, undergraduate degree, and that was it was just, and why that's important is because it's always been my main interest is what humans are thinking, feeling, and doing. You know, what does it take to become the ultimate human being? And that started a long time ago, back when I was just a kid, and then it manifested in going for psychology, and then of course acting is really just exploring human behavior from the inside out. You know,
trying it on.
Yeah, trying on that.
Looking through some other eyes.
Yes. And metaphysically, I've always been interested in these kinds of things. Learning about laws of attraction and the power of now, and any other thing that will help me become the best me I can be, to self-actualize. So when I work with students, I basically do the same thing, which is I get them, number one, to identify any beliefs that are stopping them, and then I help them take on this mindset of, if I have a goal, if I have an instinct, my instinct is to say hi to her, you know? My instinct, for whatever reason, I don't need to analyze why, I don't need to look at her and say, oh, she's too this, or she's not that, or she's this, and I'm not enough that. I don't need to do all that. That's where all the problem lies. So I basically teach them to tune into their instinct, get into that feeling, and respond. Instinct, respond. Now you're in the now. Instinct, respond, I'm in the now. Instinct, analyze, hesitate, and I go straight to hell. And then I walk away and I kick myself. So when I looked at all those things I said, like psychology, metaphysics, acting, the one thing, and then 5 years of coaching every single day in New York City, literally every day, it came to me that it is this simple, that you have an instinct, and if you respond to it, whatever garbage you have floating around in your head, whatever aberrated beliefs you currently have, instead of sitting there trying to fix it inside your head, which over time you will, and then you'll come back into a happy home, your general belief system will see the world in a positive way where abundance exists, and it exists for you. But you can bypass it. You can work your way into it now. You can't fix it in here. You have to fix it by training yourself to respond like a martial art. Just like if I was going to punch you, block me, and you didn't need to be a kung fu master, right? You would have done that before you were a kung fu master, right? So the same thing when a beautiful woman's walking by or sitting down, you would respond just like that. Okay, go over and say hello in some way, right? Go over and say hello to an observation.
It was interesting that when we were coaching in Belgrade recently, we had one student who had sat down and watched everything, like hundreds and hundreds of hours, and had studied for years seduction material. And he was the one that by the end of the course, I was still having to go, all right, first say excuse me, then how are you going, and then introduce yourself. And he was like so stuck in his head that he was like, he'd go up and go, nice to meet you, what's your name, hello, like fucking up the order of a perfectly human, normal thing that you would do just based on this. So, he had so much ridiculous ideas that were contradictory, that were confusing, that were over-convoluted in his mind, that he couldn't just go up and say, hey, excuse me, how you going, what's happening? Yeah? So it's like, for all you men out there who are studying endlessly, trying to find the perfect technique or whatever else is out there, this is the opposite of the right thing to do. This will actually cause you a lot more damage. When we teach students, the easiest ones, I don't know for you, but for me, to teach, the guys who get fastest results, the guys who've never studied anything. They're just like, I've, decided one day, I realized I was pretty shit with girls, and then I happened to find you first, lucky for them, and they come along. It's the guys that have done, years of study, that we actually have to deprogram all this extra bullshit to get back to the normal shit.
And this happens this always reminds me, go back to acting, you know, I had a great acting teacher. One of the things he used to say is people would come to his class and they had studied somewhere else, and it was like, it was always, oh boy, you know, now I've got to it's going to take me months to deprogram you and to teach you just how to be you, how to become natural, how to become a natural person, because a lot of times what the essence of the madness, not just in this area, but in all humanity, is we can't just leave beauty beautiful, right? You can't just let an apple be beautiful in and of itself. You got to take it, dump a bunch of sugar on it, mix it all up, and now it's something, right? Like we always think, we have to put spin on the ball. Like you have to add something to your personality. Like, what is this ladies' man? Is he like, you know, like walks like this, and he does this, and he drives his car? You know, he's you, but you expressing yourself fully and beautifully, and with acceptance of yourself. He's you, but the you who cares about his life, the you who's interested in life, the you who's interested in other people. That's who the ladies man is. The you who can give someone a compliment without feeling like he's giving away a bar of gold. You know, this you, the you who's beyond fear.
Hell yeah. Well, if you would like to be the you that is beyond fear, and many other wonderful things, then I would definitely suggest checking out John Keegan's material, which there's not a lot of it out there because he's quite reclusive. But he is always padding the beat in New York City, and every fucking day this guy has earned his stripes as a coach. So if you're interested, you can check him out on
theawakenedlifestyle.com, theawakenedlifestyle.com.
And you know who I am, James Marshall, The Natural Lifestyles, reporting from paradise.
Yes,
I think